There are fire users in comics who can erase star systems, rewrite matter at the atomic level, or drag whole worlds into hell, and they're way above the usual throws fireball level. Today we're ranking 10 of the most overpowered fire wielders in DC and Marvel, from cosmic phoenixes and hell lords to nuclear reality benders. If you enjoy insane power scaling like this, hit the like button, drop a quick comment with your favorite fire user, and subscribe so you don't miss the next DC versus Marvel power video. Ghost Rider is the spirit of vengeance bound to a mortal host, riding through the night wreathed in hellfire that burns sins as much as flesh. His flaming chains and bike are extensions of that infernal power, letting him drag cars, demons, and even gods down into searing pits of judgment. As long as the mission of vengeance continues, he shrugs off wounds that would erase lesser heroes forever, rising again in burning, relentless fury. Ghost Rider's signature hacks is the penance stare, forcing victims to relive every ounce of pain they ever caused until their souls crack and beg for mercy. His hellfire can scorch astral forms, tear through sorcery, and ignore normal durability, turning even intangible or heavily armored foes into screaming torches. At his peak, he becomes a terrifying equalizer against demons, gods, and sinners across the Marvel Universe. Few foes escape him. Etrigan the Demon erupts from Jason Blood in a blast of rhyming hellfire, a compact tank of demonic muscle wrapped in blazing magic and centuries of hatred. His breath and hands spew mystical flame hot enough to hurt beings like Apollo, while his claws and durability let him brawl with powerhouses who normally toss tanks like toys. Every punch lands with infernal weight that can shatter stone, steel, and enchanted armor alike. Etrigan mixes brute strength with sorcery, hurling spells, curses, and telekinetic blasts alongside his hellfire, making him as dangerous at range as in close quarters. He heals quickly, barely ages, and returns from injuries that would end almost anyone else, anchored by his bond to hell and its rivers of living flame. On Earth, his power slowly wanes, but in the lower realms, he becomes a nightmare few heroes dare to confront. Neron stalks the DC universe as a devilish dealmaker, offering villains and even heroes incredible power in exchange for their souls and secret desires. His emerald, hellfire, and demonic strength are terrifying on their own, but the real threat is how he upgrades entire rogues galleries at once, turning street crooks into supercharged monsters with a single handshake, a glowing green flame, and a cruel, patient smile that never fades. During Underworld Unleashed, Neron triggered a wave of infernal power-ups that shook the planet, casually killing Mongol and warping reality around his schemes. His hacks include soul theft, wish-granting, telepathy, and flames that ignore normal defenses, burning targets on a spiritual level. Yet his biggest weakness is the fine print. Acts of selfless sacrifice and broken contracts can undercut his magic and drag him back to hell. Firestorm is a walking nuclear reaction, the fusion of two minds into one hero who channels blazing nuclear fire and total control over inanimate matter at the atomic scale. His flames are just the surface of a power set that lets him fly at extreme speeds, absorb radiation, and survive conditions that would vaporize most heroes, turning battlefields into his personal laboratory of unstable, glowing energy and wild, improvised science. The really broken part of Firestorm is his ability to rearrange atoms and molecules, transmuting steel into foam or toxic gas into breathable air with a single focused thought. In some stories, he reaches near reality warping levels, casually restructuring massive structures and weapons while villains scramble to understand what happened. His true limits are imagination and teamwork, since the Matrix depends on both minds staying aligned. Firelord blazes across space as a former herald of Galactus, his entire body sheathed in cosmic flame rather than ordinary fire. Wielding a burning staff, he channels the power cosmic into beams and storms that can slag starships, crack asteroids, and carve through enemy fleets with contemptuous ease. His fiery aura makes him a living sun on the battlefield, blinding sensors and overwhelming lesser energy users instantly. Even veterans hesitate. Firelord's connection to the power cosmic grants him superhuman strength, speed, and durability. plus the ability to survive and fight freely in deep space. He manipulates the electromagnetic spectrum, turning his flames into precise energy weapons and shields instead of random explosions, letting him duel foes at interplanetary range. While beings like Galactus dwarf him, Fire Lord still outclasses most cosmic pyros in raw destructive power. Mephisto rules his own hellish realm as a manipulator first and a brawler second, wielding infernal flames that burn both flesh and soul with cruel precision. His true power lies in corrupting wishes, twisting the desires of heroes like Spider-Man and Silver Surfer into traps that reshape lives and timelines forever. Inside his domain, reality bends to his will, and every flame, shadow, and scream becomes another tool in his game for souls. At his worst, Mephisto operates on a multiversal scale, forming councils of his own variants to claim all reality through carefully staged crises and bargains. His hellfire can incinerate spirits, his illusions can trap minds for centuries, and his contracts can erase marriages or rewrite destinies with a whisper. The real danger is that he wins without a fight, turning hope, love, and guilt into the chains that bind his victims forever. Surtur is the primeval fire giant of Muspelheim, a towering titan of living flame who predates Odin himself and exists to ignite Ragnarok. His power is centered on the Twilight Sword, a cosmic blade that channels star-level infernos and can cut through dimensional barriers as if they were paper. When Surtur swings it, entire realms tremble, and Asgardian gods are forced into desperate last stands, just to slow his apocalyptic advance. Surtur's greatest feats often come when prophecies finally break, and he marches to fulfill the end of all things, threatening to drown existence in primordial fire. Even Odin and Thor struggle to contain him, needing alliances, artifacts, and sometimes outright sacrificial gambles to push him back into the void. He is less a villain with schemes and more a walking cosmic event, the inevitable wildfire that the Marvel cosmos lives in fear of. Dormammu rules the dark dimension as a blazing god of eldritch flame, more living spell than mortal sorcerer. His body is a swirling furnace of mystical fire, and every gesture can unleash storms of energy that erase matter, warp gravity, or twist time's flow inside his realm. Heroes who face him there fight the landscape itself, as Dormammu reshapes reality into mazes of burning void and living fire that obey his slightest whim. Dormammu's hacks goes far beyond raw destruction, letting him empower cults, possess avatars, and strike across dimensions while barely lifting a finger. Alongside cosmic beings like Odin and Eternity, he helped banish Zom, proving he operates on a terrifying upper tier of Marvel power. The only times Doctor Strange wins are when Dormammu is bound by oaths, tricked into bargains, or dragged away from the home advantage of his own infernal kingdom. Trigon is the living embodiment of evil in the DC universe, a demonic conqueror who has enslaved countless worlds and dimensions. His power is not just about blasting hellfire. He manipulates energy, twists souls, and reshapes matter like clay, turning armies and cities into fuel for his dark empire. In his own realm, he bends reality with a thought, drowning heroes in demonic flame and psychic corruption that can shatter even the bravest minds. Trigon's worst feats come when his children, like Raven, fail to hold him back, and he steps fully into the mortal plane. Entire planets fall into his shadow as he feeds on fear and despair, swelling into a cosmic-sized horror that the Teen Titans can only delay rather than defeat. Even then, Trigon's greatest weakness is the emotional and magical bond with his offspring, letting hope and compassion crack his hold and seal him away again. Phoenix Force is not just fire, it is a cosmic avatar of life, death, and rebirth that chooses hosts like Jean Grey to carry its will. Its flames are really psionic and cosmic energy, letting it reshape matter, empower telepathy and telekinesis, and resurrect the dead at will. At full power, it casually crosses space and time, treating star systems as playgrounds and heroes like the X-Men as pieces on a vast universal chessboard. Dark Phoenix showed how terrifying that power gets when it breaks free of human limits, casually absorbing the energy of an entire star and wiping out a populated solar system in a single act of hunger. The Phoenix Force can resurrect its hosts, rewrite timelines, and restart evolution on a planetary scale. But it is also guided and twisted by the emotions and trauma of its avatar, turning grief and rage into unstoppable cosmic wildfire. That's our rundown of the most overpowered fire users in DC and Marvel, from cosmic forces to infernal monsters. If you liked the video, drop a like, leave a quick comment with your favorite, and subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown.